What's up guys, Chasing Langley here with part 2 of our Swindon Town Director of Football rebuild, the second era, the Matthew Ord era, and we're going to get into it and see how it's going just after the intro. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave the comments down below, tell me what you think of this series, and I'll see you in just a second. So, of course, we saw last episode things started off very slowly or very sort of awkwardly for our new man at the helm with 3 wins and 4 draws towards the back end of the season. But as we get here to the end of the first transfer window in September, we can see that things are ticking over. We started the season with 2 losses, one to Blackpool in the league 4-1, a 2-1 loss to Ipswich in the League Cup first round. And we came out with a 1-0 win against Carlisle, 3 draws against Stevenage, Leyton Orient and Swansea before beating Ebbsfleet 2-1 in the Bristol Street Movies Trophy, you know what I mean. the Tampax Sherpa Vans Trophy. There we go, the trophy no one cares about. So we had to do some transfer business. Obviously, we switched from the 4-3-3 to a 4-4-2. Let's see what the new boys who've come in look like, shall we? So as you can imagine, the overhaul started with a little bit of a whimper. Zach Schwab came in on a free from Arsenal. I've sent him out to Boreham Wood on loan, but he was the first signing of the Matthew Ord era. There are better signings, we'll meet them in just a second. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the signings because there were many. I've overhauled the squad a little bit in the summer. Louis Copley came in on a free from Arsenal, having been released. Good attacking midfielder with a lot of room to grow. Apparently could only become a League One standard player, but I feel like he's got a little bit more in the tank than that. We'll see what we can do with him. Another player I expect to become a big deal for us very quickly is Will Andiapan. A Welsh under-21 international signed from Tottenham, can play all the way across the back line, and again, I think has big potential. But I think that League One standard is probably actually higher than he actually is, lower than he actually is. I think he's going to shoot up beyond that. Sean Stewart from Norwich should fit pretty much straight into our starting 11, I think. He's a left-back / centre-half, Northern Irish under-21 international, was now 22, will be playing for the under-21s very often. Has played a lot of football at League 2 level for Barrow and Crawley on loan, so we should expect him to be able to just about slot straight into our lineup. Has already played a couple of games for us off the bench, but I think it won't be long before he develops into a regular first teamer. Luke Plange has joined us permanently, having been released by Crystal Palace. We got on loan with us last season, or was it season before last, sorry, and he did very well for us. Went back and played 3 times in the Premier League and scored for Crystal Palace, so he's now joined us permanently. Again, has some big potential, I think bigger than it says here, but a good player for us to keep in the squad and have just as a striker option. Now, a really key signing for us is going to be Dylan Markanday. He has joined us from Blackburn, having been released, can play on the right-hand side and up top. Will obviously be mostly a striker in a 4-4-2 system unless he learns to play as a sort of traditional right winger. But he's had a pretty good career. He's 24 years old and can play for India. I think will switch at some stage. Originally joined Blackburn for 500k from Spurs. Has played in the Championship quite a few times for them, including last season where he played 6 times off the bench in the Championship for them. His most notable loan has been out with Chesterfield, where he played a full season in League 2. Looked pretty good, has Championship potential, so we'll see if he can stick with us and realise it. Whilst looking for left-back options, I came across Lucas Wilton. He is an interesting character in that he has been playing in the German leagues and German lower leagues, funnily enough, for most of his career. Has actually got 277 league appearances, 16 goals, has already started a game for us. A German, of course, 30 years old, but I believe he has English second nationality, so that was why he was available to sign so easily. Obviously, would never have got a work permit normally, but, you know, he can come in, he can do a job, be an experienced head at the back, backing up Talaji Bola at left back. Now, something I'm quite excited for is Nigel Longwake. He has joined us from Wolverhampton, Hamptons, centre-half, right back, but can fill in other places as well, should we need him to. Has been on loan at this level in League One before with Huddersfield, has made 4 appearances for us already as well. Had a loan that he didn't play in, apparently, with Grasshopper Zurich. Has also played in League One for Plymouth previously, and in the Eredivisie for Fortuna Sittard, a product of PSV's youth system, and apparently has good Championship potential, so we'll keep an eye on that. Former Dutch under-21 international, though only played 1 time for them, so I'm guessing it didn't go very well for him. But there we go, he's coming to join us, and I think can be a real boost to our back line. As I said, he's played 5 times for us already this season, 4 in the league, and yeah, looks like a strong signing. Next up is a name Swindon fans watching this will recognise, a bit of a club legend, Harry McCurdy. He can play anywhere across the front three, really. He's coming to sort of the end, downswing in his career. I think he peaked very early in his career. He's had a couple of horrendous injuries as well whilst he's been at Hibernian. In the game universe, since leaving Swindon, he obviously went on loan from Swindon to Perth Glory for a little while, then played for Hibernian, played for Melbourne City in the A-League, so he's been bouncing back and forth across the globe. But he's had a really solid career. His first spell at Swindon was quite special. 20 goals in 35 games. He's known for being a bit of a howler, loves to wind up the crowd, and he's been playing since he's come back to us. 3 games off the bench, 1 start in the league. But he's just a player that pretty much every Swindon fan loves, just because he's a bit of a wind-up merchant, but he can score goals, and if he gets around the team, will hopefully score for us again. Now, he had a right-back option as well. Kane Wilson was available on a free 3.5 stars, and apparently only a League 2 player with decent League 1 potential at 3.5 stars. Go figure. He was released by Derby, has previously played for our beloved rivals Forest Green, and our pretend rivals, our beloved rivals Bristol Rovers, our pretend rival Forest Green. But previously was with West Brom, had loans at Tranmere, Exeter, at Walsall. He's been around, he's played at this level before, he knows what he's doing at this level, and should be a very, very good signing for us. Now, another Swindon favourite is Dan Kemp. Doesn't reflect his appearances for us in real life on the game for some reason, but he did play for us in real life. He did play for us in real life. Was a real star on loan from MK Dons. Has since joined Stevenage. Played a lot of games in League One. So when he got released, I signed him up because he's such a good player. I'll show you how good he is all around. I say how he's reflected very badly. He's a much better player than this in real life. But he's an old Swindon favourite. I brought him in just to give us extra options in midfield and attack. And hopefully he'll start to hit some form for us on his return to the county ground. Joining him in the central midfield will be Paris Magoma, formerly of Tottenham's Academy, a Congolese international. We signed him on a free from Brentford. I think had him on loan last season. And he's just a good all-round player, very good all-round midfielder, especially at this level. Should do a job for us. Already is playing fairly regularly for us. 4 league appearances and 2 cup appearances for us. And a player I think we've got some good long-term potential in, even at 24. Big one to watch out for is Romanian international Catalan Sojan. He's joined us on a free, having been released from Arsenal. Can play pretty much everywhere across midfield. It looks like a good young player with championship potential, which is strong, and a good resale value already for a player signed on a free. Played in the championship on loan at West Brom and did actually quite well. I'm surprised he dropped down to this level, but he was available on a free. He wanted to come, we signed him. I mean, you can't turn down a player like that. Another attacking option is going to be Malik Wilkes. He has joined us on a free from Sheffield Wednesday. Has previously played Championship, not just for Sheffield Wednesday last season when he came off the bench, but he's played in League One for Rotherham and for Wednesday. Previously played in the Championship for Hull as well, and for Barnsley, and came through Leeds' academy. So you know he's got to have something about him. And yeah, just another really good kind of option to have up top, giving the boss choices. He's played once and assisted a goal already, so he's done all right for us so far. One of my favourite players signed at this level is Alkan Bagat, an Indonesian international who's been around and been with us in so many saves, I think, at this stage. I signed him originally, I think, at Sunderland in the Sunderland till we're sat save. Comes through Ipswich's academy, was released by Ipswich. We picked him up on a free, having spent last season in the Scottish Championship with St Johnstone, where he did very well. Previously played at this level and did well with Blackpool as well. So we know he can do the job here, and that's really what we were looking for, is strong players who can do a job. Has that pace I like in a defender, just all round a very, very, very good centre-half for this level. Vala Adoka, an Irish and the 20th international, joins us on a free from Brentford as well. Another good player with some good pace. Has spent a season on loan in Hungary, curiously, but I assume he had a good time. I think this is the top flight of Hungary, and did okay. I didn't do anything spectacular, but a player again with some very big potential and can fit into our team. Has played once already, and just fills a lot of spaces on the left-hand side. Very versatile player, good player to have around in a squad like this. Brad Young is coming on a free as well to be a goalkeeper option, because I always feel like we need to strengthen in goal. He previously played for Leicester, had a season on loan in Hartlepool, where he played most of his football. He actually started at Hartlepool went back on loan in the National League, played very well for them, and he came up on a free. And with that kind of scout report, I mean, even as a backup goalkeeper, he'll do very, very well in League One. But he looks like he's a better goalkeeper than that. Yes, he could be quicker out the box. He's more of a traditional goalkeeper than a sweeper keeper. But he's in there as an option to have in goal and, you know, can develop, which is what's important. Sean McWilliams has come into our midfield as well, another player who can play all the way across the middle. He's played 4 league games for us already and looks very good. Came to us on a free from Rotherham, having been on loan in the A-League last season. Real theme here, our chairman's Australian, so I'm guessing that's why we know about all these players who played in Australia. But has previously played in League One and done fairly well. Not spectacularly, but he's done fairly well. He's a solid player at this level. Has played a lot of games in League Two as well for Northampton previously. So a player who can come in and bring some experience to our midfield at 27. And again, he's not spectacular, but he's solid enough. A more spectacular free signing was Killian Phillips, Irish under-21, sort of 4 under-21 international at 23 now. Has, again, a good potential. It just feels like a strong option. Has previously played for Crystal Palace, or has been with Crystal Palace, having joined from Drogheda in the Irish League of Ireland Premier League. Then had loans in League One at Shrewsbury, in the Scottish Premier League with St Mirren, and in the Pro League in Belgium with Molenbeek. Has come in, has made an appearance off the bench, and again, just giving us options all the way up that middle of the park, which is quite nice to have. We've also brought in Malachi Fagan-Walker as a centre-half. He's a very good option. He's very quick. His pace makes him absolutely lethal at this level in terms of being able to break down play. He's not much technically, but that pace he'll get in places that other defenders won't and really help us out. Joined us on a free from Cardiff, where he played in the Premier League 3 times last season off the bench. Had a loan at York, where he played a lot of games in the National League. Obviously came through Tottenham's academy. Played for Dundee for a couple of games. I'm sure he's a player you all know from FM. He's a bit of a lower league legend in FM and does a really good job, develops very well, and hopefully will reach that championship potential for us. Then, of course, I've dug deep into the loan market. We've got a Dutch under-20 international Ismail Kabia on loan from Norwich. I'm trying to teach him to be more of a proper winger because I think he'll do very well for us. He has played a couple of games in the Cups for us. But yeah, he needs to kind of work out how to fit our system. But we've got the luxury of being able to do that with him, and he's done okay. We had him on a free. I remember we had him on a free. My brain, I've seen so much of this save now. My brain's thinking he came to us on a free. We sold him to Norwich, then we brought him back on loan. I was like, sure he was here before. He was. He was the player we sold to Norwich for £1 million. We brought him back on loan just to see if we can give him some game time, help him develop. And he's got that potential, so we'll see what he can do for us. Charlie Gray is coming in the centre of midfield from Manchester City. Another player I think we can get good use out of. He hasn't played for us yet, but I'm sure he will do. He had last season on loan at Mumbai and did very, very well. Of course, Mumbai is probably nowhere near the standard of League One, but we can see how he shapes out. Doesn't have much pace, but his technicals are decent, and again, he has that room to develop. If he can do it here, we'll be laughing with this loan, I'll be honest. Michael Mbick is a French under-19 international, comes in as a Championships potential player. On loan from Charlton, he played 5 times for them in the league over the last couple of seasons. Once in the Championship, 4 times in League One. So he does know this level. He's a striker who can play on the wing if he needs to, but I shouldn't need him to. Well, I say the gaffer shouldn't need him to, because he's alright. He's a pretty good striker. I also managed to get one of my favourite strikers in the game. Those of you who've watched Welcome to Wroxham, and if you haven't, do it, will know this guy, Emre Teşkel, the English/Turkish striker from Stockport on loan. He develops so well. He's such a good player. Potential Premier League standard, should absolutely slam in goal for us once he gets going. Has played in both the cups for us and scored so far. So looking like a solid signing, and a player, as I said, up top. You cannot argue with Emre Teşkel as the inside. If you haven't had him in your save, do it. Just do it. This guy's a monster, an absolute monster, and hopefully will contribute many, many goals for us this year. Jaden Mahoma has also come in as an option at left back on loan from Brentford. It's not as if they want to have options at the back. And he's under 20 international for England. He's pretty good so far. Has had a career that's taken him from Tottenham to Southampton to Brentford. So he's one of those players who everyone sees the potential in, but no one seems to be able to extract it. Hopefully Matthew Ord is the guy that does. and we'll find out how that works out for us. He's also played for us in the Tampa Hats Sherpa Vans Trophy. See what he does. See what he does for us. Now, I have actually spent some of the money we've brought in. Josh Davidson comes in for £500,000, a right back from Northampton, a guy I think has that potential rather than being a for now signing. Came through Liverpool's academy, had a couple of seasons with Northampton between League One and League Two, and now joined us for £500,000. And I think he's going to be money well spent. I think he'll develop nicely. Has that kind of personality and all the kind of traits I like to see, where I can see him kind of becoming a really standout player at this level for us. And finally, I brought in right back Kasper Nielsen. He's a Swedish under-21 international with championship potential. I've sent him on loan to Bar City, previously with Brighton, where we signed him on a free. Had a season at Partick Thistle, where he's gone and played a few games there as well. I just think this guy's got that potential in spades. We'll see how he develops, and hopefully we'll have a good season. But I think we should probably, because I don't want this episode to be quite as long as the first, because it took forever to edit, let's just zoom to the end of the season, see how things shake out. I have said to the gaffer, we'll look at the expectations in the club vision. We are expected to avoid relegation. I would like us to finish in the top half of the table. That's kind of the challenge I've set the gaffer. We'll see how it goes in just a second. So at the end of the gaffer's first full season in charge, we have got ourselves a 7th place finish, just missing on the playoffs by 3 points. Really disappointing. We've dropped a lot of points in the run-in as well, which, should have pushed us over the line. But in terms of player stats, Emre Teşkel with 15 goals, Paris Magoma having a big average rating as well. Osman Kamara is a player that came in, I think, towards the end of he came at the start of the season on loan from Arsenal. I'm guessing it must have been towards the end of the transfer window. I can't remember if we talked about him or not. But he's come in to be able to play on the wing. He's done very, very well for us. A solid 6.86 rating, and just looked very, very good all season. Only got 1 goal, but 8 assists. It's a pretty strong contribution for him, and he's been a very valuable addition to the squad. 12 assists in all competitions. Elkin Baggett there, 92% pass completion, and Paris Magoma and Catalan Serjan have got our Player of the Match awards, and all looking pretty good. Let's look at the schedule just so we can see how the story of the season really shook out. So we start off with that. Let's get rid of these friendlies because they're always in the way. We start off with a little bit of a slow start. I did question my choice of manager a little bit because it really took us a while to properly get going. We can see here there's 2 wins in the first 2 months of the season. Finally sort of picked up some form in October, and then held that form November, dipped again in December, and then when things started coming together in January, that was when we could sort of start to dream. Reached the 4th round of the FA Cup, where we lost to Everton 3-1. But, January was pretty spectacular. The form dropped again in February, and then it was hit or miss, essentially feast or famine for the rest of the season. That's really what's cost us. I mean, it must have been a very, very weak league, if we're honest, to be able to have that kind of form and still finish in 7th. But let's have a look at the player stats for the season, and then we'll talk through some of the new signings going into Season 4. So stats-wise, we can see our big performance. A few players came on loan actually after we did that episode, the last thing. I think it was sort of Charlie Setford came in very late to the point where I don't think I'd actually had him come in at that point. Anyway, Charlie Setford came in as a goalkeeper. He's been a lot. That's why I didn't see him. It's been a week. Forgive me. I've recorded a lot of episodes of other stuff. My brain is not quite fully there. But Charlie Setford still with us on loan and doing very, very well this season. Can't complain about him as a performer. Let's get rid of the players who aren't actually at the club because they're not really telling the story of our season. Elkin Baggett's been a very big, regular performer for us. 46 appearances for us this season. Only 1 goal, but again, just shy of a 7 rating, done very well. Catalan Serjans have 47 appearances. 8 goals, 9 assists, again, for a very solid rating. Osman Kamara has done very well for us. 2 goals, 12 assists. Jaden Magoma, 35 appearances, very good, very solid at the back. Not spectacular, but solid. To Emre Teşkel, just shy of a 7 rating, but 15 goals and 35 4 assists. Nigel Longvike, who I said to be very good for us, 33 appearances and has been solid. Harrison Minton from our youth team has played quickness 51 times for us this season. 2 goals and done very, very well the whole time. Paris Magoma, again, 42 appearances, 6 goals, 5 assists. Kean Noble on loan. I don't think it was a player I talked about. Kean Noble came on loan to us from Manchester City and surprised me by actually getting into the team quite regularly. Despite not being spectacular, the gaffer obviously fancied him enough to play him 28 times in all competitions. And, well, he's done pretty well, so good for him. James Wilson, another player we didn't talk about, who has done very, very well for us, on loan from Hearts. On loan from Hearts. Scottish under-19 international who's got himself a lot of appearances playing up top and on the wing occasionally. Again, 32 appearances for us in all competitions and performing fairly well for us. Ethan Hamilton has played, 37 games. 37 games for Talaji Bowler at left back, which we sort of expected. Dylan Markandale has switched to play international football for India, having played 38 games for us, 13 goals, 5 assists. Very good performance from him. Wanted as well, so he may leave in the summer. Sean McWilliams has 21 games. Michael Umbeck didn't play as often as I thought he would, 15 appearances, but 10 goals isn't a bad return for him. Joe Rothwell holding firm in there. Marco Levaya, who I think came in January. Did I sign him in January? Don't think he's been here for 2 seasons. I think I signed him in January. Let's have a little just check. Yeah, I signed him literally at the death of the transfer window, January transfer window. He's had a very good career. Plays for Tottenham and did very well in the Premier League for them. They released him and he wanted to come to us. He's had a career as well. Hajduk Split, AEK Athens, Las Palmas, Empoli, Rubin Kashan, Atalanta, Inter, Cesena, Lugano in Switzerland. He's been everywhere. Very good player. He's 32, 21 caps and 4 goals for Croatia, though, which sort of tells the story of how good he's got. A massive value. The fact that he's available on a free and wanted to play in League One is incredible. And 13 goals, 13 appearances, 4 goals, 4 assists, a 7.08 rating. Absolutely spectacular for a mid-season signing. Likewise, Keenan Bennett came in during the January window, I believe. All right, he's been in forever. I'm forgetting everything. My memory's going. I'm getting old. Keenan Bennett, though, is done very well for us. 27 appearances in the league this season. Kane Wilson didn't play as often as I thought he would. He's had 12 appearances. I thought he'd be our first pick at right back, but apparently Longbite is the pick there. And just all looking very good with other players here. Paul Glatzel falling out of favour. Ishmael Kabaya not playing as much as I thought he would. Joe Wormington came in late in the season. He's a guy with enormous potential. £51,000 I spent on him, but only 5 appearances so far. So the gap isn't fancy him, but he has been out injured as well. Is it a big injury? No, I suppose with groin strains usually about 2-3 months. So he has missed a lot of football. Killian Phillips didn't play as often as I thought he would. He's mostly appeared off the bench. And it's just been a kind of a middling season. But let's have a look and see what the window brings in for us in the summer. So another big window for us in the summer. I'm not going to go through every player because it was so many that will be here literally all year. Elkin Baggett, though, left us for 350k, which is a really good deal for him from Queen's Park, who got into the Scottish Premiership. And 350k I couldn't turn down. I know he played a lot of games for us last season, but it was really good money and I can replace him. So for 350k, we'll just take that money. I know I like him, but we'll take that money. Paul Glatzel's also left us to join the Wrexham Revolution. He's got 100k a year with Wrexham in League One. He's played a few games for them already this season. 47.5 million I sold him for. But I've almost doubled the money we spent on him, and he's been a very good servant to the club. So we'll wish him luck, but he's got no part in our future. One of our young players, Miles Obodo, has left us for £5 million to join Bournemouth. I was hoping he'd stay with us, but the board wouldn't let me turn down £5 million for him. He's not developed just yet, but he does have potential to be a championship player. I believe that in real life too. He could be a championship player. But again, £5 million, you can't turn it down. So we've had to let him go, unfortunately. But that money has been reinvested very well. Likewise on the outs, and again to Wrexham, Talaji Bowler has left us. 375k for him, which I thought was a good deal. I'm looking at his value now. I don't think it's such a good deal, but I thought it was a good deal at the time. And again, we have other left-back options, so it was kind of a no-brainer. Just let him go and see what we can do to replace him with the money. Ethan Hamilton as well, another big player for us last season. He's gone to Plymouth only for 25k. Took a massive haircut in selling to the Championship, but he was kicking off a fast, so it was just better for the squad dynamics to have him go. Yes, we took a loss, but you know we've got a couple of add-ons in his contract, I believe. I'm sure we've got a couple of add-ons in there. We'll figure it out. But yeah, he's gone to just essentially to fix morale, essentially. And one of his midfield partners in Sean McWilliams also gone 10.75k to Colchester across League One. Again, played well for us, but not often. He's nearly at his full potential. Just felt like a smart move to take the money for him while it was available, because otherwise he probably would have left on a free at the end of his contract. So we just took the money, and again, all reinvested. Hugo Fisher had been here as a backup goalkeeper, the Slovak under-21 international. We paid £775 to sign him from Brighton. He's had a couple of loans, one back in Slovakia, one to Hartlepool in the National League, where you can see 107 goals. So when a Slovakian club, Banska Bystrica, came in for him for 80k, we had to let him go, quite frankly. Sean Stewart was someone I had high hopes for, didn't break into the team. We signed him on a free, when Peterborough said here's £240,000. I wasn't going to argue. He's played more for them than he did for us, so that's a sign of the times. But I guess also it's a trip home for him because he's made his home in Norwich. Peterborough's not far away. So a good sale, good cash influx for us that, again, we can reinvest. Dylan Markanday has left. Again, the board would not let me turn down £3.6 million for a player we signed for free from Derby. Sad to see him go. He's had six games and 4 goals for India since switching nations as well. Pretty strong move for him. I don't know if he's done that in real life, but he probably should. He's not going to play for England. And yeah, just a really, really good performance for us last season, of course. He made those 33 appearances in the league, and it was 39 appearances in all competitions for us. Scored 13 goals. So we did well for us, earned that move. But yeah, 3.6, we'll take it. It's massive money at this level. And our final big money out was the other striker we were hoping to keep hold of for the save. Botan Amin has joined Brentford, and again, for money I couldn't turn down. 5.25 million, potentially rising to 8.25 million. For a player who played in League 2 last season, 13 and 38 in the league, not particularly playing well, but again, he's got the potential, but the money, you can't turn down that kind of only £15 million we brought in this summer. So let's go and see how we've spent that. And again, this summer the story has been youngsters. Ross Gallagher comes in from Shamrock Rovers, £425,000 for a centre-half who's not the tallest in the world. He's about 5'10". And yeah, just really good determination, decent pace. He's only 18, under 19 cap for the Republic of Ireland, and a player I think could develop into something quite special for us. So our first marquee signing of the summer came in the form of Harrison Burrows on a free from Sheffield United at 24 years old. He's not the youngest player I'll ever sign, but he's a very solid player who can play a lot of good positions as well. A lot of positions we need bodies. Played in the Premier League 6 times off the bench for Sheffield United last season and a couple of cup appearances. Also made 6 appearances in the Championship the season before that and 4 the season before that. So he's got Championship experience and has previously played a lot of games in the Championship for Peterborough as well as 41 at this level. 62 at this level for Peterborough in their kind of yo-yo seasons. A very good signing, I think, and a good way to kick off the window. Now, a player I always really like is Ismail Ulad Mahand. I've had him playing in the Premier League and doing very, very well. The Arsenal Academy, or the Arsenal youngster, he's actually a final academy player. Played twice in the Premier League last season for Arsenal, late substitute appearances, but they count nonetheless. Very good Dutch under-20 international, and yeah, he has room to develop. I'm hoping this is the manager that gets that out of him, because he should be able to develop quite nicely if he gets the game time. Now, a strong signing, any say, is Dane Scarlett, the under-20 England international from Tottenham. Very, very good all-rounder. I've seen him playing in the Premier League. I've seen him playing for England in previous saves. I think Welcome to Wroxham, he was keeping Emre Teşkel out of the England squad for a while, I seem to recall. But he's had a very, very good start to his career. Alone at Portsmouth at this level, 4 goals in this universe. He's played for Oxford United, which, you know, will forgive him 39 games and 9 goals in the Championship, followed by 24 games and 3 goals for QPR in the Championship. Then released by Tottenham, we picked up 4 games and a goal so far in the league, 2 games and a goal in the Cup. We'll talk about how the league is going so far in just a second. He was in QPR's best 11 last season, which makes it kind of wild. They didn't pick him up, but their loss, our game, very, very big gain as well, I think. I feel it's weird saying one for the future here, but Nathaniel Nwosu is a Nigerian international goalkeeper signed from Water FC. He's signed for free. He's been playing for Water FC. I guess that's Nigeria's top flight. It doesn't really tell us. But he's had 3 caps for Nigeria. He must be something pretty special. He's only 20. He's got time to develop. I'm going to try and send out on loan and see if he becomes a worldie, because if he's playing for Nigeria already, there's no good reason he shouldn't. Ollie Harrison is a player I hope will come in and play some football for us. 19 years old, under 18 international for England. Has had a previous start at Motherwell in the Scottish Premier League. 13 appearances, a goal and an assist. Not too bad. Came through at Newcastle, then joined Chelsea at some stage. And you've got to hope he can develop, because he looks like he should be a Premier League player according to our coaches. So we'll see if the gaffer fancies him, gives him some appearances and makes best use of it. Matthew Ord comes in the centre of midfield, 23 years old, under 21 international for Scotland. Very good, or at the minute has some very, very good attributes here as well. A good Championship player, say our coaches. Has previously played very well in the Championship on loan at Bolton. Also had a season on loan in the Scottish Premiership with Dundee, having come through at Tottenham. So we'll see if he becomes a special player for us. Has played 3 times this season in the league, twice in the League Cup, which tells me we have got someone in the Cup. And looking actually like a decent signing for us. I'm quite happy with this, and that value, just disgraceful. All right, a quick boy at the back, and Roman Egan-Riley fills that gap a little bit. He joined us on a free as well, having been released by Tottenham, originally of Manchester City's academy. I believe the brother of CJ Egan-Riley, who is at Burnley, would make sense. It's not reflected in the game, but I assume he must actually be his brother in real life. And he has had a loan at Cambridge in League One, done very well. Had a loan at Bolton last year in the Championship, did very, very well for a centre-half at Bolton. And again, should be a really good signing for us. 4 league appearances, 2 cup appearances, 2 goals in the cup as well. So maybe he's good in the air. It looks like he's good in the air. I'm assuming he must have been goals from set-piece headers. And another player for us to develop, hopefully, if the gaffer fancies him, and it seems like he does. He's been joined at the back by left-back Owen Beck, 7 caps for Wales already at the age of 24. Joined us on a free after Liverpool released him. He has played in the Premier League for Liverpool, although only a late sub appearance. Had 19 appearances in the Championship last season, or the season before that as well. And has also had a spell at Dundee on loan, a spell at Bolton on loan. Has played for Famalicão, or Famalicão. I'll never get that. In the top division in Portugal, or the second division, I think that is in Portugal, doing very, very well for himself. But coming through at Liverpool very slowly, 24 years old. But he's played 5 league games, got a goal, 2 assists, and a player of the match with a 7.06 rating, and 2 cup appearances and a goal for us. So looking like a strong signing at left back, and that Talaji Bola doesn't look like he's going to be missed that much. I'm keeping an eye on Pascal Clemens as well. He's joined us from Hertha Berlin. Our scout's doing good business in Germany. We've only played in the League Cup so far, but he looks like a hell of a player and can fill in some positions. Must have decent potential beyond what it's saying as a Championship player, because at 21 under 18 caps for Germany as well, 7.6 value is just disgraceful. And has played 22 games in the Bundesliga for Hertha Berlin, mostly off the bench. But again, a sign of a quality player who should be able to come through and help us out. I have signed another Swindon legend to be both our first choice goalkeeper this season, because I felt like we needed a new first choice goalkeeper, as I often do, but also as a goalkeeping coach, because he's coming towards the end of his career. Wes Foderingham, what a hero of Swindon this man is, 35 years old now. Of course, playing in the Premier League in real life for Sheffield United, I believe. It says he was at West Ham. So joining West Ham in the summer, I missed it. Anyway, after he left us, after becoming, as I said, a bit of a club legend in his first start at the club, he had a good 4 seasons with us and played a lot of football, was incredible. He went and joined Rangers. It was a bit controversial because we just got to the playoff final this season, and he left us to join Rangers in the Championship. Became Rangers' number 1 for a few years, before dropping to Sheffield United, where he started off as number 2 and earned his way to become their number 1 goalkeeper. Joined Cardiff in this universe in the Premier League, 875k. Played again in the Championship, did very well. We've paid £160,000 for him. I'm quite happy with that as a signing, because I think that Fods, he's such a good goalkeeper at this level. And if we can get the end of his career looking good for us, I'll be happy with him as a signing. Sam Stewart has joined us from St Pat's in Ireland. He's an under-21 international, a real-life player too. Under-21 international centre-half for the Republic of Ireland with Premier League potential for 325k. He's already made an appearance for us in the league. And again, what I think we can really develop into a Premier League player. Big value as well. Really good kind of Moneyball-esque signing that should be with us for a while to come, unless he gets snapped up for big money and our board says, nope, we're taking the money. He'll stay with us for a while. I really like him. We've done a lot of hunting in the Irish leagues, mostly young players. We'll start, I'm not going through everyone. Young players that we've signed, a lot of the money has been spent on young Irish players, because there's a lot of very high potential young Irish players coming through. So we'll see how they look as they develop. Now, I spent £625,000 on Noah Hay from Everton, 3 caps for Jamaica at the age of 20. Again, a good option just to play everywhere at the back with Championship potential. Played in League One last season very well for Ebbsfleet, who I hadn't even noticed had got to League One. But yeah, we've signed him, we've paid money for him, and I think he's going to be a good investment. He will develop quite rapidly, I would think, and as long as he gets some football. And yeah, just a really good signing to fill out the squad. Now, the biggest money of the summer was actually spent on a youngster who we've sent back out on loan. He's joined us from Dunfermline and stays there for the season because he's not quite ready yet. But young Scott, 18 years old, mostly will play as a striker for us, I'd imagine, under Ordy. But that's fine. He's currently gone back. I paid 2.2 million for him. He's played a lot of games in the Scottish Championship. And I think he's mostly been playing as a winger, but that's fine, because as he plays, he'll develop, and that's really the key for us. But we'll look out for Rory McMurtry. He should come through to become a fairly solid player for us, I think. Now, our biggest signing I expect to make a real impact for us is Irishman Sean Wade, who can play on both wings, giving us options to play as a more traditional 4-4-2. I have paid Wraith Rovers £1.1 million for him after he had a really good season in the Scottish Premier League, joining on a free from Chelsea. Feels like a strong signing. I know it says close to his full potential. I'm not sure that's the case. He's 19 years old and he's already playing that well. I think he'll do really well for us. I think we'll sell him on for a profit at some stage. But keep an eye out for Sean Wade. He should be coming through strong at the end of the season when we look at the stats. Likewise, our hunt in Ireland continues with Kevin Pace. He's actually English, but came through at Shelburne. He's an under-18 international for England, despite coming through in the Irish League. Can play in a lot of positions. Looks like a very good, very high potential striker. 1.5 million value. I've paid £650,000 to Shelburne for him. And he's had a lot of goals. 16 goals and 58 appearances in the League of Ireland. I think probably quite a special looking player. And yeah, I don't know how he's come through in Ireland. Does he have an Irish second nationality? He does. That explains how he's come through in Ireland. So I've been born in Wellingborough. I don't know. I'd love to know the family history there. Make up your own backstory. But I think, again, a really strong player who's going to develop very, very well for us. And we should spin a good profit on him if he can. Well, you can really see on the right-hand side, he's our third best striker, along with one of the players who we are about to meet. This signing is filth. Sander Maas has joined us on loan from Ajax. 19 years old, 3 under-21 caps for Holland, or for the Netherlands, I should say. Let's be correct, the Netherlands. He's already apparently a decent Premier... I have no idea what he's doing. He's already a decent Premier League player. He came right at the end of the window, so he hasn't actually played for us yet. But he's filth. He's an attacking midfielder who can play as a striker or a winger. Will obviously play as a striker for us because we don't use attacking midfielders or wingers in a 4-4-2. Very frustrating. Very frustrating having a 4-4-2 manager when a player like this comes up, but I couldn't say no. I've paid £18,000 to loan him from Ajax for the season, and I think that's the best money I've ever spent on FM looking at him, because he is going to be, I would suggest, if he develops, one of the best players in the world. Not for us, he'll go back to Ajax and do it, and then probably go to PSG, but should become one of the best players in the world. He's filth, and hopefully will be a big, big player for us this season. Kevin Ferguson is a Scottish international, 18 years old, on loan to us from West Ham, another central midfield option. Again, very good all-round, already a championship player with Premier League potential, £33 million value. I'm paying £27,000 to have him here for the season. And I'm quite happy with that. Played 3 times in the Premier League for West Ham last year. The 6.4 didn't really tell the whole story. He was coming off the bench, played 2 cup games, 2 games, 1 goal, as for a 7.3 in the League Cup for them in that season. I'm sure it was the League Cup for them that season. And again, a filthy player who should score goals. He's already played in the League Cup for West Ham this season, which is very frustrating, because he won't be available to us. But again, if he can help us push for promotion, we're looking good. Now, Liam Payne is a New Zealand international, 18 cap, on loan to us from Southampton as a right back, and again, massive potential, already a leading player for League One, and you'd expect him to feature fairly often for us this season. They signed him from Wellington Phoenix for 3.7k, and we've paid them £45,000 to loan him, so they've already made a profit. They're going to make a bigger profit if they sell him. And again, I think a player to look out for in the end of season stats. But challenging him for the right back spot this season will be Jack Hepworth, who joins us on loan from Manchester United. 1 under-21 cap for England, Premier League potential, very good mentals and physicals, decent-ish technicals, certainly a League One player, but could be better, and has played 4 games for Manchester United in the Premier League, including 2 starts, which is quite impressive. A 6.6 average rating in that season, and last season, in fact, and a game in the Cup as well. So certainly someone United think a lot of, and hopefully he'll develop with us to help push us for promotion this season. And finally, I spent money on a player again. Hugh Resky is a striker/winger who's joined us from Exeter. I've given Exeter £800,000 for a player who's only ever played in League 2, really. Played a couple of games in League 1, but they were off the bench as he was developing. 25 games, no goals. He was being used as a winger by them at Exeter, which is why his goal tally is so low. But again, I think he can develop as a decent striker, and if we're developing him as a right winger for use at this level for the 4-4-2. Again, he's so quick, he's going to be lethal at this level. I really believe in him as a signing. Someone we should at least spin a profit on, even if we cannot get him to... we can't get him to develop fully into a first team, but he should do. And I'm assuming part Polish? No, just pure English, but with a Polish surname. There we go. But that's our signings for this season. Again, let's see how they'll do. We'll look at first at the schedule so far, so you can see how things have been going. Get rid of these dastardly friendlies again. And the season started better than last season. Yes, we start off with a loss to Wrexham, a 3-2 loss. We beat West Brom in the first round of the League Cup on penalties. We drew with Leyton Orient, lost to Stockport, beat Peterborough for our first league win of the season, beat Gillingham to get through to the third round of the League Cup where we played the fake Dons. And we then beat Burton 3-0 in the league. So we'll see how that develops. Let's see what our expectations are for this season. And the boards are going to be saying, if it'll ever load up for us, the board are going to be saying top half League One finish, which I think should be achievable. Of course, we finished 7th last year. It's Ordy's second season in charge. So we'll see how he can do. Let's zoom to the end of the season and find out how that went. So at the end of season 4, we've not kicked on quite as much as I'd have liked us to. We've finished 7th again, this time 4 points adrift of the playoffs. But again, it's our new signings leading the way. Marco Libaya is our top goal scorer with 18, Sander Mas with a 7.12, Sean Wade with 9 assists. I told you he'd come through. Jason Kerr with our best pass completion. I don't know if I mentioned signing Jason Kerr. He's, I think, here in the January of last season, and was a player I paid 25k for just because I needed to shore up the back line, and he just seems, he's 30 years old, just seems to have kicked on and become a regular starter for us this season, which we really cannot complain about too much. So let's have a look at the story of the season again, and the story of this season, we have to get rid of the friendlies again, because it always reloads them when I switch a save. Right, we came in after the Burton game last time. We lost to Milton Keynes, unfortunately, in the third round of the League Cup. Lost to Tottenham, a lot of losses, 3 losses in a row. And the form picked up a little bit going through October. Got a nice win against Bristol Rovers, which is always nice to see. Carried that form through November, apart from losses to Portsmouth and unfortunately Reading, where they absolutely thumped us 3-0. Mixed December, which a lot of games in December is to be expected, followed by a January start off with a win on TV against Oxford, which we always love to see, 3-1 there. Good December, good January, all the way through till the end where we started picking up losses and a little bit of a dip in form, kind of carried on all the way to the end of February. March picked up again, and then April just kind of all collapsed. And again, it's the story of April. We just kind of fall apart a little bit. But let's have a look at what we're doing in terms of the squad stats, shall we? So stats-wise, Fod's played 57 games for us this season. Absolutely ridiculous return for a man who's just turned 36. But as I said, solid first-choice goalkeeper for this season. Marco Lavaya at 33 has scored 18 goals in 49. Owen Beck has done very well for us at left-back. 5 goals and 4 assists in 45 appearances. Jason Kerr turning in 45 games for us and only assisting once. But, you know, he was at the back being solid. Catalan Serjan has really come through for us this season. 40 appearances, 4 goals, 7 assists. Sean Wade came big as well. 40 appearances, 2 goals, 9 assists. Sander Ramas, 33 starts, 15 goals, 7 assists. Looking very, very good. Liam Payne, 35 appearances at right back, 3 goals, 6 assists. Matthew Craig, 48, 2 goals, 6 assists. 14 goals from Kevin Pace, who's come on very, very strongly for us this season. 43 appearances, 6 goals. Aidan Borland came in fairly late, I believe, in the window. In fact, he came in out this. I looked at him when I was going through. I said, did he do well? I couldn't remember. He has done well. He's coming to the side. He's played 24 games, got 2 goals and 2 assists just in the league, which is pretty sickening in terms of a player I forgot had done well. Roman Egan Riley, again, done very well for us. Kevin Ferguson's done well for us. Jack Hepworth, no complaints there. 26 appearances at centre-half, I believe they were, from memory. Harrison Burrows has done very well to make 41 appearances, 3 goals, 7 assists, mostly, I believe, at left-back. Joel McGregor has finally come through for us to play regular first-team football. He's had 27 appearances, a goal and assist. Pascal Clemens has developed into a right-back as well, so he's had 22 appearances, 2 goals and an assist. Matt Mitchell was a late signing who sort of 13, same with Charlie Webster. Let's have a look at Matt Mitchell and Charlie Webster just so you know who they are. He's come on loan from Liverpool and was a guy who could play everywhere across the back, looking very, very good there. And Charlie Webster came in on loan for us from Fulham, and again has played very well since he came in the January window. So we are doing business in January as well. Let's not be too confused by that. Joe Rothwell starting to drop off. Dane Scarlett not starting many games this season, but I'm guessing with Sander Mars and Kevin Pace playing up top, he didn't get as many opportunities as you'd like. Same with Sam Stewart, to be honest. He's only played 13 games this season. I thought he'd do better. Paris Magoma has dropped off in appearances. Nigel Longbike has dropped off dramatically in both ability and appearances. Zach Swanson came in January, I believe, and was it January? It's been one of those players who's been here the whole time. Zach Swanson, he has been here before. He's been here a while. He's had a sporadic amount of appearances for us. Well, Scott Twine, another Swindon legend, got brought in as well because he was available. 1.1 million in January from Luton. 9 games, 1 goal. Not too shabby, but I expected more from him. But the game kind of sees him more as an attacking midfielder than a striker. I've always seen him as being a striker, but, you know, what do I know? A few other young players going through. Finn Sherlock was a player we signed from Ireland as well. I don't think I've highlighted him before. I think he came in January. And, 450k from Shelbourne. We've been hunting them and taking all their players. 18-year-old under-21 left-back for Ireland who is deadly quick and will develop into a good little player for us. I have absolutely no doubt. Likewise, appearances for Arthur Bennett, who was another youngster that came in very kind of late on, I believe, from Tottenham, signed on a free. Not a player I expected to play a lot of football, and he hasn't realistically. He's played 3 games for us in the league and cup. And just kind of there to develop, be a young player coming through. Sammy Braybrook was on loan from Leicester, didn't really play. Michael Odowale was a player we signed on a free as well, I believe. He has come in from St Joseph's. I guess he's coming from Tottenham. So for 66k from Tottenham. He played on loan at St Joseph's. on loan from Spurs. So he is another player who's sort of just slowly dripping into the squad, mostly playing cup games, it looks like. Brad Young got an appearance, Sam Murphy was another youngster, came and got an appearance. Killian Phillips is kind of the biggest disappointment so far, considering we had high hopes for him. He's not playing massive amounts of games for us, and maybe someone would try and move on in the summer. But, you know, good all round. He's kept the appearances to a very kind of a much smaller selection of players this year. But again, that 7th place, I was hoping for playoffs. We're going to give him another season, so let's have a look, see how the January, well, the summer window, I guess, shakes out. And we'll come back in a second and see what that looked like. So we come back at the end of the window. We find ourselves sat 8th in League One, which is not too bad a return. Schedule-wise, so far, and again, we'll get rid of these pesky friendlies. If anyone knows a skin that gets rid of these friendlies automatically, let me know. We've had a much better start to the season, really. We've only lost one game, which was unfortunately on penalties to Burton in the second round of the League Cup. But otherwise, we've been pretty much plain sailing, undefeated at this stage in the season. The experiment with Matthew Ord in his first job as a manager. We actually haven't looked at Matthew Ord since we came in. Let's do that. Let's just have a quick talk about Matthew Ord, shall we? So in his 3rd season as manager now. He came in first job in any kind of coaching capacity, having retired as a player with Handsworth in Yorkshire, I believe. And previously, I think the thumbnail picture is of him playing for Maltby Main in, again, the North East Counties Premier League. But again, it looks like he's developing. If you remember, these were 14s when we hired him, and he's developing at a pace. Is fair to say. But let's have a look at the signings I gave him for this season. We won't, again, won't go through all of them because the video is already going to be massively long. So let's see what the key signings and sales look like for the summer. And we'll start by talking about sales because key profits were made here. Zach Schweib, who never played for us, had a season on loan at Boreham Wood, but came in on a free £210,000 to Hull. A pretty big sale for a player who, honestly, I didn't think was going to be good enough to get in this squad. And, you know, good money. Rory McMurtry didn't get a chance to develop for us because he came back from his loan in the Premier League, in the Scottish Premier League. Middlesbrough offered us £1.5 million for him. I thought we had a surplus of strikers, and actually I genuinely thought that was a good deal because I wasn't paying attention. They've sent him on loan to our lovely rivals at Bristol Rovers, which is nice. I guess he bought a house down here and wanted to use it. But yeah, he didn't look like he was going to come back and get in our team. So I guess the money was pretty good for him, but he's been turned over for a loss, admittedly. But to give us more transfer funds, not that we need more transfer funds, we're swimming. I'll show you what we've got left after this window, so you can see how badly we are swimming in money. Backup goalkeeper Brad Young left us. Dundee came in with an offer of 20k. It was free money essentially. He's already playing for them in the Scottish Premiership. He wasn't really getting games for us at all. He played, I think, one game in the Cup last season. So it just made sense. They were offering us money. Backup goalkeepers are 10 a penny. So yeah, we let him go. We took that money for him. And our last big money out was Ross Gallagher, who you'll remember we signed last season. And he didn't play for us. He was just kind of chilling in the reserves, doing his thing. We paid 425k for him. Suddenly, I've obviously seen one of his 4 appearances for our under-21 side or our youth side. And gone, okay, we'll give you £2 million for him. And I said, yes, please. He's not developing. Please give us £2 million for him. And I think that I must have tacked add-ons in that. I'm not that mad. Could go to £2.5 million with add-ons as well. Beautiful piece of business. Just easy money. So let's see how we've reinvested as well, because that's going to be what's important for this season as we progress. And if we're not looking for promotion this season, I'm going to be mortified, honestly. And we started things off with, as always, a midfielder, Cesar Palacios, a Spanish under-21 international. This is disgusting. Look at the value of him here, 7.2 to 9.8 million. Signed on a free after Real Madrid released him. And he'd already had 5 league games on a 7.16, with 2 appearances, 2 assists. Ridiculous. Honestly ridiculous that Real Madrid would let this player go, because he's not a Real Madrid quality player, even if he has Premier League potential. But he certainly shouldn't be at Swindon. Don't know how he's ended up here. He wanted to come. I said yes, and yes, I'm paying him 300k a year, but you cannot argue with the value I'm getting for that. if he lasts one season, I sell it for anywhere near the value he has now, that's pure profit. And I love it. Now, Brad Young's replacement is as the backup goalkeeper for this season will be Stefan Bajic. He is a French under-21, former under-21 international. And has been signed on a free after being released by Bristol City, where he was their, I guess, first-choice goalkeeper for at least a little while in the Championship last season. I'm guessing they went down without looking. Just a guess. Yeah, he's coming to be our backup goalkeeper this season. Having been there quite a while, he had a loan at Valenciennes, joined them on Po after joining them from Saint Etienne, where apparently he played in Ligue 1, which is mad to me because he's a good goalkeeper with some potential. I don't see him as being a top-flight goalkeeper anywhere. But again, he's coming just to be a backup option. If he forces his way into the first team, great. But we've got better options in this squad. And I'll be honest and tell you, it's been a very quiet transfer window in terms of first-team players. I've just been reinforcing with youngsters for Ordy to bring through, really, because they're all developing nicely. We've got a very young squad at this moment in time. And Casey Worcester was the big money signing of the summer, a striker, again, mostly signed to develop. He has played in the trophy and scored a goal, which is nice for him. But I paid 1.3 million to Newcastle for him after he's had seasons in League 2, where he's done very well. 17 and 31 for Accrington, 11 and 35 for Bradford in League 2. Made him worth a punt at that fee, I thought. Under 19 England international as well. He's on a downswing, which is interesting. But I guess once he starts playing football, he'll come good for us. We are sort of overloaded with striker options, which is why we're trying to loan him out. But, you know, I think he's good value. I think he's good value for what we've paid for him, and hopefully he'll improve. Another very versatile player in central midfield, but can, as you can see, play literally everywhere, is Yassine Ayari. He's a Swedish international with 2 caps. That looks very good as an all-round player. No complaints here at all on his hexagon, as it were. We've sent on a free after Brighton release when he played once for them in the Premier League. Had a loan at Coventry where he didn't play. Actually played 3 games in his first season in the Premier League as well. They paid 3.4 million for AIK. Obviously don't fancy him, released him on a free, and I said, yes, please, thanks very much, we'll take him, thank you, please bribe him here. We're paying him good money. So hopefully he's going to come through and do really well for us. Like I said, he's an international, so at this level, that can make the difference. I've also signed an Uruguayan international, 4 caps and a goal, Agustin Alvarez, a very, very good player. Look at the value of 7.8 to 10.5, and I've paid nothing to sign him from Sassuolo, where he was playing in Serie A last season. 2 goals in 2 games so far this season in the league. A goal in 2 cup appearances as well. Beautiful stuff. Played 36 and scored 13 in Serie A last year. 10 and 35 the year before that. 6 and 23. So you can see the development curve. Played for Elche in Liga DoF. 10 and 22 there. And his first season in Serie A. A goal in 22 appearances. But obviously did quite well for Peñarol before that to get the move to Europe. I think he's going to be deadly, absolutely deadly at this level. I would expect him to hit double figures very, very quickly. I'm very happy with him as a signing, and especially for nothing. Beautiful piece of business. And our final signing of the summer was a free bit, but no loans so far this summer, because I didn't feel like we needed them. We've got enough young players of our own that we can develop that I didn't feel like bringing in anyone else's. So we've got what I guess would be Hefte. He's a former Brazilian under-20 international. With good championship potential, which we'd like to see. Another left back in the squad, another good all-rounder. We'll see how he develops. He's got some good value to him, and we signed him on a free from Rangers, which is slightly crazy to me that Rangers would let this guy go, because he must be good enough to play in the SPL for sure. And has just not been doing the business for them apparently. So he's been on a bit of a journey so far at 23. He's been through Cyprus as well. But we'll see how that goes for him. Well, I think he'll develop well. I mean, he's behind some very good players here in Beck, Burrows, Sherlock, Swanson and Hefte. The 5th choice left back. Sherlock, by the way, has been coming through, has been developing, has been playing for us. Is starting sort of like a tasty little player. So we'll keep an eye on his development. So I said I'd show you what we've got transfer budget-wise. We've got 3.5 million left in the bank. And at one stage it was up at being 8 or 9. Which tells you what I've spent on youngsters. We've got a few youngsters lined up to come in as well for the future or go out. as well. Octavio Saiz is a player I'm very excited for from Colombia. 17 years old, came up on a scout report. Celos Colombianos. I don't know why it doesn't say our scout reports. Is it a data thing? I don't know. I've had him lined up, I think, since he first came generated into the game, which might be why his scout report has gone missing. But yes, as I said, with Celos Colombianos, I have no idea who they are, but the scouts say he was good and he's 17, so I guess we're signing on a free. We'll make a profit one way or another. So we're going to come back at the end of the season, in theory, and we'll see how that goes. But I say in theory because if we look at the season preview, we have got heightened expectations on us this season. If it will let us get there in good time, that would be nice. If we could just casually jump in there. Thank you very much. Yeah, the season preview, we're predicted to finish fourth. Last season, I forgot to mention this, last season we were predicted to finish top of the table. And I very much gave Ordy a pass on not finishing in the playoffs just because he's such a young manager. I wanted to give him time to sort of learn his trade. And now we're predicted to finish fourth. If we're not at the very least in the playoffs this season, I will be honestly saying it's time for him to go. So we're going to hope he can do well. I mean, he started the season very well, but my patience is wearing very thin with these finishes outside the playoffs. And I don't think I'd accept another one, especially you've seen the players I've brought in. Augusto Alvarez, Cesar Palacios shouldn't be playing at this level. Marco Levaya shouldn't be playing at this level. We should be walking through this league. And the fact that we're not so far is troubling to me. So let's jump forward and we'll assess the situation in January, shall we? So I said we'd assess the situation in January, and the situation is that we're currently in 8th, 10 points off the playoffs. And you would correctly think that Matthew Ord is gone. However, Football Manager is very weird sometimes. So yeah, let's just pull up Matthew Ord's little profile here, and yeah, he's gone and become manager of Preston. I didn't sack him. He left us. He made a choice to leave us and join Preston in the middle of December. Preston are currently fighting relegation from the Championship. I'll pull up a table where they're currently 22nd in the Championship, fighting for their lives, and they've gone for a guy who is massively underachieving at a League One club, which is a bold decision. Now, I do have his replacement lined up, but I'm not going to spoil it. We're going to keep that as a surprise for next episode. But we'll show you how he's ended up out of a job, essentially. I say ended up out of a job. He's jumped ship. But our season was not going terribly well. We started off fairly well, as we can see, undefeated until the end of September, where we lost to Bristol Rovers. We don't like losing to Bristol Rovers, that's not okay. Bounced back with a win against Cheltenham, and then October was essentially a drought, aside from beating Lincoln 5-2 in the league. And yeah, we lost to Cambridge, we beat Charlton in the first round of the Cup, fine, beat Wickham, things were turning around. I think that's how he's cheesed his big sort of job switch, because we had Peterborough 0-0 draw, we lost to Reading, it's 2 derbies he's lost this season. We beat Wimbledon with a little bit of a bounce back, beat Milton Keynes Dons to avenge our cup loss last season to get to the FA Cup third round. All going well, lost to Forest Green, a little bit unacceptable, but it's not a derby, so we let it go. Then, really good December, up until he left here after the Wimbledon game where they picked him up. And then from December, we've been kind of under the care of various members of our coaching staff. We beat Plymouth, and you might think, well, I saw him get sacked as the game was simming through. I saw the results, and I saw we were in the table. And I kind of thought, should we make a change? And then I saw he'd gone, tick up, and it was a moment. So I'm looking for a manager. The new manager who's coming in, I'll leave it as a surprise for next episode. He's one of the greatest footballers who's ever played the game, more than qualified for this job. I could not believe he was interested in coming here to be what the game thinks, obviously, as an assistant manager. But he was. And we've just been waiting this entire time for him to agree terms and for his work permit to come through. It's coming through today, which is why I've come back on the 17th of January. We'll do the transfers I've done in January after we introduce him in the next episode. But it's been a mixed bag since then. We beat Plymouth, we lost to Millwall, we drew with Millwall, we beat Portsmouth in the third round of the FA Cup without a manager, by the way, which is incredible stuff. Then we lost to Shrewsbury, lost to Coventry, beat Gillingham, drew with Lincoln in the league. It's been a bit of a mixed bag. We're playing Chelsea in the FA Cup fourth round in what will be the new gaffer's second game in charge. And so we have a situation where we're bringing in a new manager. We've been kind of forced to. Wes Foderingham is still our number one, but he's retiring into the season. That's a problem I'm going to have to tackle at the end of the season. But otherwise, good performances so far from Serjan, from Nifaya, Clemens is doing well. In Alvarez, 18 goals in 30. I told you he'd score goals for us. 18 in 30 is disgusting. Roman Egan Riley developing very nicely. Cesar Palacios doing very, very good stuff, as you'd expect. Matthew Craig's developing quite nicely. Jason Kerr still making appearances. Sean Wade is still making appearances on the wing. Sam Stewart has finally broken into the first team proper. Obviously, without the lone defenders, he's being helped out a little bit. Harrison Burrows doing very well. Finn Sherlock has gone very nicely. Played 20 times this season and has almost displaced Owen Beck from the starting lineup. Those three are sort of rotating the left back and left wing roles, which is nice to see. Joe Rothwell, again, he's probably going to be sold very soon. Kevin Pace playing less this season, and he is wanted, so if big money comes in for him, he's worth 3.2, we'll probably let him go. Appearances for Joel McGregor are going to the bench. Yasin Ayari not playing as much as you thought he would, but obviously new manager coming in, we'll give that some time. Joe Wormington not really breaking into the first team, and Zach Swanson is keeping him out of the first team. Scott Twine not playing as much as I thought he would. We might move him on. Hugh Reschke is under a bid from Sheffield United for 2.8 million. Pretty certain he's going. And Harrison Minton not really playing, which is disappointing. And Casey Worcester hasn't really broken through, hasn't found a loan yet. He isn't even wanted for loan. And Stefan Bajic, of course, the French goalkeeper, has only played once when Wes Foderingham was injured. So that's the state of play as things go. We will come back in the next episode, though. I'll introduce you to our brand new manager. Of course, if you recognise him from the thumbnail, I'll give it away. But I'll introduce you to our new manager, the man who's taking over the hot seat. It's a big name, it's a big star, and I'm hoping for big things from him to see if he can turn our season around, drag us into the playoffs. But he's got a 10-point gap to overcome. So we'll see how that shakes out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I know this has been another very long episode. I can only apologise. I'm trying to keep it short, but these things, I wasn't expecting Ordy to stay for 3 years, to be honest. I was expecting it to be a short-term stopgap while I waited for someone else to come available. And he stayed for 3 seasons, essentially. So that's why this episode has gone long. But anyway, thanks for watching. It has always been Chasing. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave the comments down below. Tell me what you're thinking of this series so far. And until next time, stay safe and have a good one.